Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Bash pre-show presented by Nicolak Paving Stones. Nicolak has the broadest collection and designs of hardscape for your home. For a free consultation and to book an appointment, call 631-669-0700. Good morning again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. You'll notice to my right there is an empty seat, and then there's WizKid Vinny all the way to my right. The ticketbash.com limousine is stuck in traffic, Wiz. So Vinny Tickets will be here any moment. So, he's conducting a lot of business, and the ticketbash.com limo has just not gotten here yet. We do anticipate Vinny Tickets getting here in the next, couple of minutes. So in the meantime, feel free to jump in and comment as we proceed here with the pre-show.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let's tell you what's coming up on the show. Coming up will be our special guest, former Jets tight end and new radio analyst Anthony Becht. We'll also check out the Sports Bash media poll question, and we'll have this day in sports history. By the way, nice Falcons hat that you're wearing as we get ready for the football season starting tonight.
Mm-hmm. Football starts today.
Yes, absolutely. Got the we'll get to it. We got the Ravens and the Chiefs tonight. Who the Falcons open up with this week?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
On Sunday.
Mm-hmm. They're hosting them.
And, of course, Jets and the Niners on Monday night. It's time for the Sports Bash Flash. It's brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. We'll start at Citi Field, and a grand night for the Mets.
2-2 to Winker, the pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, pretty well hit to left center. Duran going back onto the track, at the wall, he jumps. It is gone! A grand slam! Jesse Winker hits it off the railing above the orange stripe near the 370 mark. A salami for Jesse Winker here in the first inning, and the Mets are off to a 4-0 lead.
Howie Rose on Odyssey Mets Radio. We welcome Vinny Tickets. He has just arrived via the ticketbash.com limousine. Welcome. Good morning.
I wish it was a limousine. A little bit of traffic
Yeah,
today.
It's okay. It seems to be a running trend here today around the staff. The Mets go on to beat the Red Sox 8-3 to finish off a 3-game sweep. Braves also won. Mets remain a half game back of Atlanta for the third National League wildcard spot. Mets are off today. They open a series with the Reds Friday at Citi Field. As for the Yankees, another loss in Arlington. They fall to the Rangers 10-2. Marcus Stroman gave up 5 runs and 9 hits over 3 2/3. Juan Soto with his 38th home run. The Yankees very, very lucky. The Orioles lost to the White Sox 8-1, so the Yankees will stay half game back with Baltimore for first place in the AL East. Yankees also off today. They'll open a series with the Cubs on Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field. Also in baseball last night.
Pirates down to their last strike. The pitch. Bouncer slowly towards Swanson. He's got it. Throws to first. No hitter. A combined no-hitter for the Chicago Cubs.
That was Pat Hughes on Cubs Radio. Cubs beat the Pirates 12-0 at Wrigley Field. Shota Imango went the first 7 innings. Nate Person, a 1-2-3 eighth. Porter Hodge, a 1-2-3 ninth for the 18th no-hitter in Cubs history. And this is not our poll question of the day. This is just up for discussion right now. Do we treat, or should we treat, combined no-hitters with the same reverence as a regular single-pitcher no-hitter?
Absolutely not.
I knew that was going to be your answer because I agree with you. What about you, Wiz?
It's a no-hitter.
I mean, it's a no-hitter, but
what makes a no-hitter special, what makes that accomplishment so special is when one person does it. It's like when there's when you shut out, in anything, when there's a shutout, if 4 guys combine for a shutout, is that really a shutout? Is that really a no-hitter?
It's a team shutout, and look, again, I'm with you. We don't treat what happened last night with the Cubs with the same reverence that you would a single pitcher. But it is, nonetheless, it is a no-hitter and goes down in the record books as a no-hitter because it was a no-hitter. But I don't think, 20 years from now, people will say, hey, remember when the Cubs had that,
I was at that game.
I was at that game, the 3-pitcher. The Mets had one a couple of years ago. Didn't the Mets have one? Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was still pretty fun. I mean, I think combined no-hitters are pretty fun.
I mean, it's exciting. I get it. It's still a no-hitter, and you want to see it happen, but that's something that you're going to remember for. I remember there were 4 Astros pitchers that no-hit the Yankees. Remember at Yankee Stadium years ago? It was 4 Astros pitchers no-hit the Yankees.
National League Astros, you got to keep in mind. With with you had Billy Wagner finishing the job.
Yep, absolutely. The NFL season kicks off tonight in Kansas City. The defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs host the Ravens. Kickoff at 8:20 WNBA tonight. Liberty hosts Seattle at Barclays Center at 7 o'clock.
Are you going?
I am going.
Oh, good.
I did wind up going. Looking forward to it. I'll tell you off air how I got the tickets.
Okay.
You'll be interested in this. But also later in the show, we've got a ticket topic to talk about that I saw on the news today. And that's why you're going to come in handy very much
Oasis?
later.
Wow.
No, we're coming right back with Sports Bash.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way. Personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Ticket, 631-451-1039, the number to call. Later in the show, we'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question. We'll also have this day in sports history, and I say good morning to Vinny Tickets.
And we say good morning right back.
And the NFL season will kick off tonight in Kansas City. For the Giants, it starts Sunday against the Vikings, and for the Jets, everything kicks off Monday night in San Francisco against the 49ers, and it's a new era in the Jets radio broadcast booth. As our special guest on the show today is a former Jets tight end and the Jets' new radio color analyst who'll be working side by side with Bob Wischusen this season is my good friend Anthony Becht. Anthony, it's Peter and Vinny. How are you?
Oh, great, fellas. It's good to be on. I appreciate that. Really excited about the opportunity to jump in the booth with Bob. Marty has just been fantastic over the years, and it's going to be great to kind of, fill those shoes and bring a little bit of different perspective on a week-to-week basis.
You're no stranger to broadcasting. I mean, you've been doing it for a number of years now, whether it's been part of the Jets radio team in other capacities, doing the preseason games on TV. You've worked in Tampa a little bit with the Buccaneers. And this is just, I guess, the next step in your career is being like the guy in the Jets radio booth.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, I've been doing media for a while. I've called close to 200 TV college games and radio games. Just really feel real good about it, as far as just seeing the game and the perspective. And you're right. I've been part of the broadcast really with the Jets in multiple capacities, between pregame and postgame and a lot of things that they've done in and out podcasts. I mean, just a lot of experience there and a good familiarity, not only of the team, but the organization. So, again, just really excited about it. It's an opportunity that doesn't come around a lot, right?
Yeah.
Maybe every couple decades.
Yeah.
So, definitely excited about it.
That's great. So, Anthony, when we look at the season, a lot of hype about the Jets. I actually heard someone, I don't know, Peter and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but I was listening to someone and they're predicting 16-1. And
Were you listening to Boomer and Gio on the way in this morning?
I think it was yesterday. Yeah. But I didn't want to say it. But yes. So, 16-1, I think, is an extremely aggressive approach for the season. What would you consider, Anthony? Obviously, you're as well-versed with this team as anybody else. What would you consider this season to be a success? What record and what end game would you consider to be a success for the team?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a little lofty. 16-1 would be pretty fantastic, obviously, but that's just incredibly hard. I mean, if I'm just looking at the team and I'm just thinking about, what they should expect, what those levels should be, the fan base, and this is really going off of everyone stays healthy, the key pieces are there. you should expect playoffs. I mean, this is a playoff roster. This is what you have. I mean, it's not sugarcoating. It's not a bias towards, covering the Jets. It's just that's what they are. They are a playoff roster. The question is how far and how deep can they get? Now, how many wins it's going to take to get them to the playoffs? I mean, look, you're going to have 11 to 13 wins, in my opinion, to secure that spot. And that's where they should be targeting in their mind, where everybody should say, okay, that's going to be good enough to get them in. Outside of winning the division, I do believe that they are the favorites to win the division, just because of what they've done to revamp the roster, and of course Aaron Rodgers coming back. So, now when they get into the playoffs, what is that reasonable expectation? I mean, honestly, I just think it's too early to tell. I think they should be trending in a direction where they should be very dangerous. They should be trending in a direction where they're a team that other teams don't want to play because of the fact that, you figure Aaron Rodgers will be clicking, getting into his groove. Breece Hall should be having a huge year. Wilson, who is that second receiver that's going to step up and be that guy? So, and this offensive line, really excited about, what this could look like. Again, everybody's staying healthy throughout the season. So we know what the defense is going to do. We know how they're going to be throughout the year, but them playing with a lead, maybe more than often than they ever had in the last couple of years, that's going to be fun to watch as well.
Yeah, and where do you see them being most vulnerable? We know Aaron Rodgers has to stay healthy, but aside from that, where do you see they have weaknesses or soft points in the lineup?
Yeah, I don't know, offensively, I don't necessarily think it's a weakness. I think it's just we got to see it. Who's that two receiver?
Yeah.
Is Mike Williams going to be a similar Mike Williams from a few years ago coming off an ACL? Everything's projected to be well, but he hasn't done anything as far as, the practices leading into the training camp. He just got brought back on PUP a couple weeks ago. So, those are some things. Okay, hey, he's trending in the right direction. He hasn't really gotten that work. It's been a lot of visual stuff. So, how does that work between him and Aaron? And then Alan Lazard. I mean, let's be honest, guys, not the greatest season last year. A lot of things going on there, multiple quarterbacks, just the everything, the vibe, everything that was going to get in the flow of him early in the season was not there. Now the Aaron Rodgers effect, how does that change? Does he become the guy now that, he was in his last season with Green Bay, the player that, that this team's going to need moving forward? So I think that's the one caveat from an offensive perspective. From the defensive perspective, again, it's not an issue. But what's it going to look like, because we don't know it in a bigger sample size, is the pass rush factor with guys like Will McDonald, how will Tack McKinley, add into this outside of the starters, Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens on a down-to-down basis. I'm very high on Will McDonald. I think that
he had a good camp. He had a really good camp, Anthony. I thought he had a good camp.
I think in a smaller sample size last year, he did really well in preseason games, and I know they weren't against starters or whatever you want to say, but, the spin move, those things are very dangerous. Those things bother tackles. Everybody's like, oh, well, he's got to work on his power and his speed. Well, yeah, he's very good at how he maximizes maybe the lack of girth in his body and the weight. And he's very cognizant of that. He's been very cognizant of that all the way from college. He's played a lot of ball, man, like coming out of college. So he's always going against bigger bodies. He's always been inside in college. Now he's got the freedom. So I just think the more reps he gets is only going to propel him to where the Jets expect him to be. So those are two areas that aren't gray. They're just, we got to wait and see what that looks like.
So the Jets, a big test right off the bat. We talk about their schedule, and the schedule will soften up quite a bit after the first week of the season. But, hey, as Ric Flair said, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So you start out with the San Francisco 49ers on Monday night. The Jets go in there. I think this is going to be a great matchup on Monday. How do you look at this matchup for the Jets on Monday night?
Yeah, it will be a good matchup. I think the Jets are catching this team at a really good time right early in the season, just because, again, they have some not necessarily unknowns, but what's the status as far as how in shape some of these players are coming back, some of these guys from injuries. You look at Brandon Ayuk, how does that look like on the field? Can he play every snap? Is he going to be on point with his route running? I mean, I just feel like, when you talk about Shanahan and the way he tries to build the offense, it all starts with, everything from the walkthrough and the reps and everybody kind of doing things on the same page, and everything's connected so that Brock and and this functional offense can work well together. Well, they haven't had all these pieces in camp as well. Christian McCaffrey hasn't practiced, throughout the training camp. Yeah, we all know that he's a great player, but again, just not having all those pieces there, and of course, Trent Williams being one of the best tackles in the game, obviously. What's his in shape level? I mean, I get it. He's great, and he's going to be fully functional and be able to do what he can do. But there is some conditioning issues there that become a big deal as well. And also, they're starting a rookie at right guard. I think that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like Quinton Williams is feeling like this is great. This is opening night. I'm pretty much dominating anybody at this point. Now I got a rookie guard potentially.
Yeah.
That I can go against at a high frequency. That's going to be an area that they're going to try to attack with Dominic Cooney at that right guard position. So, again, very good team, very well coached. This will be a very good, matchup. They'll be very, very close. I just think it's a good spot for the Jets to be in Week 1.
Anthony, really quickly, we have about 20 seconds. Your gut feeling, do we see Hassan Reddick in a Jets uniform this year?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously, everybody's got their side and issues, but man, it's getting real late, and I worry about, guys being prepared and ready to just jump into it. I think it's going to take some time, and if it does, it might be a wash at this point, but I'd love to see him show up. I mean, and more pass rush up you can get, the better, and the Jets have a lot of it, but he would be a key addition if they can get them there.
Awesome. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the radio job, and see you at MetLife Stadium this year.
You got it, guys. Appreciate you.
Take it. Former Jets tight end Anthony Becht, the new radio color analyst for the Jets radio broadcast with Bob Wischusen. More Sports Bash coming right up after this.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, back on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Great spot there with former Jets tight end Anthony Becht, and I'm so excited for him. It's sad and bittersweet with Marty Lyons leaving the booth, but Anthony Becht has done such a wonderful job in his broadcasting career, doing college football on TV for ESPN and getting involved with the Jets broadcast and the Buccaneers broadcast down in Florida, and now a chance to step into the big chair with Bob Wischusen, and I'm looking forward to hearing him on the broadcast this year.
Yeah, and it's always nice to get a player's perspective. When you have somebody that played the game and, of course, played for the Jets, it's just nice to get that perspective of a player, because they give it, like, we look at a game a certain way. When you're a player of the game, like me with baseball, not that I played at any high level, but I know the game because I played the game, right? And it's always great to get that perspective of a player.
And we didn't get to talk about this with him because we ran out of time, but he is going to be heading into his third season as the head coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks, formerly the XFL, now the UFL. We're coming right back right now. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. It's Peter Schwartz and Vinny Tickets. Coming up, we'll get to the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, this day in sports history. Thanks again to Anthony Becht for joining us on the first half of the show. I teased at the beginning, Vinny, that we had a ticket topic to talk about on the show, and I wanted to make sure we covered that now before we get to the other elements coming up in a minute. But we saw a report this morning I was watching the news with my wife on Channel 4, and they had this report about a lady who bought tickets to see Def Leppard over the summer at Hershey Park Stadium. And she bought the tickets. The tickets did not say obstructed view on them. They were full price, regular tickets. She shows up at the seats, and her tickets, her view of the stage is blocked by a gurney walking across. She could not see the show whatsoever. They were 2 VIP tickets that she bought, and it was $1,700 for the 2 tickets. And when she contacted Ticketmaster, they wouldn't refund her because the concert wasn't postponed. Now, the tickets didn't say obstructed, so she did not say obstructed view. So she called the person at Channel 4, Linda Picaro, that Better Get Picaro, and they wound up getting her money back. But it brings up an interesting point, and for you involved with Ticketbash.com. If that ever happens to anybody, if you buy tickets, obviously, if you know when you buy them it says obstructed view, because they will tell you that, then you really have no options. But if you buy a ticket, it's not obstructed view, and you can't see it. What do you do?
Yeah, jump up and down, scream. No, it's a good question. So different states have different laws. In the state of New York, people will always say, well, is it full view? Well, just so you know, it has to be disclosed in the state of New York. You know, Ticket Bash is a licensed ticket broker in the state of New York. And there's a bunch of rules that we have to follow regarding refunds, customer accounts. One of those rules is that you must disclose if a seat is obstructed, you must disclose it. Now, here's the challenge. I sent one of my very dear friends to see Sammy Hagar in Connecticut a few weeks ago, and he was sitting 5th or 6th row right in front of the stage. And he actually, a couple of days later, I saw him. I says, "Oh, how was the show?" He says, "The show was great. How were the seats?" There was a pole in front of us. I said, "How is there a pole in front of you?" And it was not disclosed on the ticket. I went back to the vendor and said, "Hey, here's a picture from the seat." And I was actually able to get the customer some money back.
There you go.
So, yeah, it has to be disclosed in answer to your question.
Yeah, because I've bought tickets for shows before that have said obstructed view, and I still went ahead and did it because you know what you have going into it. And sometimes it's actually I went to see an Islanders playoff game at Barclays Center years ago with my son Bradley, and they said obstructed view. And I looked on the seating chart. I'm like, I don't know how that's an obstructed view seat. And we went, and it wasn't obstructed view. But here's what I found out about that. Some of the seats in that section, remember in Barclays Center, some hockey seats, you couldn't see one end of the ice, right?
Yeah.
If any seat in a section was an obstructed view, they have to sell the whole section as an obstructed view.
Interesting.
So we had seats in that section that were not obstructed view, but we paid obstructed view prices for that seat.
Yeah, and sometimes obstructed view could even mean something as small as like the Islanders had this at the barn, that you didn't see the scoreboard.
But they had the TV up there.
They did have the TV, but those were marked limited or obstructed view as well.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to make sure we covered that on the show today. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Let's look at yesterday's question. Question I posed to Anthony Becht at the end of the interview. When will Hassan Reddick report to the Jets? I said this week, next week, later this season, never. And most people, 48%, said never.
Wow.
I think it's going to be next week.
Next week, okay. I think it's never as well.
You think it's never as well? Wiz, what do you think? You think he plays one down for the Jets this year? No.
No, I don't see it. And if it does happen, it would be later on in the season. But, he's going to lose some money as a result, though.
Absolutely. So listen, you hope that you listen. If he sits on his ass at home all season, he doesn't collect one dime. In fact, he loses a lot of money. He could still show up and get $12 million. So how far do you go to prove your point?
Yeah, it's a tough decision to make.
Now today's question, and I'm excited about this because I'm going with my son Jared to the Liberty game tonight at Barclays Center. The WNBA leading New York Liberty hosting Seattle tonight at Barclays Center. And here's my question. How far will the Liberty go? They have the best record in the league right now, and can they supersede what they did last year getting to the finals? Can they win it all? So the answers are WNBA champions, reach the finals again, reach the Eastern Conference final, or they get knocked out in the first round.
I think they will make the finals and I think win because right now they are the best team in the WNBA based on just record alone. And they were very close last year, but then this year they aren't trying to get the W.
And you talk about ticket sales and how big of a ticket they have become. Somebody posted on X yesterday a little, chronological order of photos over the last few years for the Liberty. Remember when the Garden was going through the renovations, and where did the Liberty have to play during the summer when the Garden was getting renovated? When MSG owned them, they played at the Westchester County Center, and there was nobody at the games. Nobody. Then they're sold to the Nets, and they go to Barclays Center, and the crowds are very small. And they started to pick up, and now they're drawing 17,000 people. It's unbelievable how popular the WNBA has become.
You want a winning team? You want people in the seats? Put a winning team on the quarter of the field.
And they have star players.
They
have star players, so it's very, very easy. It's a fun atmosphere to go to, and looking forward to being there tonight. This day in sports history, Wiz.
Well, with football starting today, on this day in 1994, Jerry Rice, arguably the greatest football player of all time, became the NFL's all-time leader in touchdowns, earning his 127th, surpassing Jim Brown. In total, when his career was over a decade later, he finished his career with 208 total touchdowns, 197 of them receiving.
There you go. Jim Brown. I had a chance to meet him.
Did you?
No, Jerry Rice surpassed him.
But Jim Brown, I had a chance to meet. I never met Jerry Rice. I had a chance to meet Jim Brown at a Lizards game a few years ago when he was actually part owner of the Lizards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great lacrosse player, too.
He was a great. People don't realize that about Jim Brown.
Manhasset.
Arguably a better lacrosse player than he was a football player.
You've got an appointment with Dr. Summerworth again tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
Now, we covered this on the show the other day when you weren't here.
Oh, boy.
I kind of laid down the law at the beginning of the show. We were talking about that football season is here, and all the joking around during the summer is coming to an end.
Oh, boy.
So, it's like it's a football Friday.
Yeah, I guess it becomes Dr. Falloff. I don't know.
Dr. Falloff.
That's not a thing?
Well, I'm just saying, it's the first football Friday of the season, and we're going to miss you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to miss being here. I actually have a very important meeting at 9 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to miss being here.
I'm just trying to bust your chops.
That's all good.
Since you're not going to be here tomorrow, let's get our football predictions in for the season today. Okay. So let's go around the dais. Jets record.
Jets 9-8.
Wiz?
9-8, 10-7.
All right, I got 13-4.
Woo!
Giants, you.
6-11.
5-12.
I'm with Wiz, 5-12 on that. Who's in the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh. Wiz, you go first.
I have the 49ers and the Texans.
And who's winning?
You see the Niners.
Niners?
Texans. Wow.
Yeah.
Would you think about that?
They've got a lot of hype around them this year, too.
Yeah. Who do you have?
Oh, the Jets are going to beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Tonight is Monday night is a preview of the Super Bowl.
Wow. Your mouth to God's ears. I'll go with what Peter said.
That's just going to copycat.
Yeah, I'm going to copycat. It's easy. It further promotes my Jet fanism by saying that. So I'll go with you. Let's go with the Jets in the Super Bowl.
And listen, again, I've talked about this on the show. I'm going to be optimistic about the Jets until, and they usually do this to me during the season, until they give me a reason not to be optimistic. But with all the hype for the second year in a row, how else could you not be optimistic? So let's go. Let's knock out the same old Jets thing and let's put it in our rearview mirror. We've got a loaded team. We've got a healthy quarterback, we hope, in Aaron Rodgers, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Why not? Been waiting long enough.
Put them on the field. Let's see what they do.
Let's get to Monday night.
Let's go.
Thanks again to our guest, Anthony Becht, for joining us on the show. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We are back tomorrow morning for another edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. We'll see you again on Friday morning.